Tell us more about your experience with the Kelly Clarkson show.
Ah, that was a big moment for me. It took me many, many weeks to calm down. I'm still excited when I talk about it.
All right, we are back. I always love shining a light on new music that may not be on your radar quite yet. Our next guest is a great pianist and talented songwriter whose songs cut right to the heart. Now performing Pedestal, give it up for Chloe Stroll.
You are just like a saint in my eyes.
Hello, CD Bestie. I'm Chloe Stroll. Don't forget to stream my album Bloom in the Break and check out my interview at creativedisc.com, the #1 music website in Indonesia.
Hello, CD Bestie. Welcome back to Creative This again with me, Nanak. Today, we're joined by an artist whose music feels like a quiet conversation with your own heart. Her new album, Bloom in the Break, explores something we all experience but rarely talk about: the idea of growing through fragile moments and finding lights in the cracks. Today, we would like to dive into stories, the emotions, and creative journey behind the beautiful new era. CD Bessie, please welcome the incredibly talented Chloe Stroll. Hi, Chloe.
Hi, that was really nice. I'm blushing a little bit. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Chloe, where are you right now?
I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia.
All right. So from Montreal to currently in Melbourne right now. That's
Yep,
how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm totally fantastic today. I'm excited.
Great. Me too.
Before we talk about the album, I'd like to a listener get to know in person uh, about Chloe right now. For someone who discovered you today, who is Chloe Stroll?
Chloe Stroll is a singer, songwriter, storyteller, mother, wife, always on the road, but um how else do I feel like mother and wife right now have been my most prominent roles, especially mother. And singer, songwriter, and storyteller have just been such a big part of me for my entire life that that's a big part of my identity of who I am. So those are probably the words I would use today to describe myself.
Okay, that's beautiful. Chloe, when you were younger, did music feels like an escape, a form of expression, or something you naturally gravitated towards?
Definitely. I think music for me was something that I always went towards. It was something that always drew my attention. And I always loved writing and literature and being creative when I was a kid. And that kind of just naturally evolved with how much I loved music and loved singing. It naturally evolved that I started to really write my own songs and create my own stories through music. So I definitely, yeah, it felt like a merging of the worlds in the best way.
Okay, first of all, congratulations for your album, Bloom in the Break.
Thank you.
Does this album represents in your life right now?
This album represents my whole well so my whole life so far. I'm not finished yet, but it was definitely years of songwriting and storytelling, and there were so many different aspects of my life that this album touches upon, which is why I really wanted it to be vulnerable and emotional and have very high highs and lower lows because that's what life is. It's a journey. You have to enjoy the ride. So that was Bloom in the Break was definitely a collection of that for me.
Okay, you've described the album's Bloom in the Break as a growing through cracks and finding the light in the fragile moments. Where did that idea come from, actually?
I always believe that as humans, we strive for perfection, but really it's the imperfections that make us unique, that make us who we are. And that's something so beautiful. And even when you look at, a piece of wood or, different objects, you find that the imperfections actually make them unique and one of a kind. And I really wanted to drive that home with Bloom in the Break is the things that maybe you feel aren't perfect or aren't what you strive is actually what makes you the most beautiful. And it gives you the experience in life. It builds you as a human. It's how you find your partner. It's how you find your friends. It's something that should be celebrated, not looked down upon. So that was where the idea Bloom in the Break came from. And yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'd like to talk about your latest single, Love in the Dark, right now. You've already released several singles from the album. It's like You're Okay, I Stood My Ground, and Home. What made Love in the Dark feels like the right single shares with the listeners next?
Love in the Dark was one of my favorite songs that I wrote. I found that it was a really important message in that things aren't always clear. Things are not always the way that maybe you expected them to be. And sometimes it can feel heavy. And I really found that Love in the Dark was something, especially with Home, which was such a big up song about family and love and finding someone who feels like home. I Stood My Ground, which has a bit more of the anger and grit and frustration and wanting to really be who you are. It's okay that, and You're Okay is obviously a very vulnerable song about loss. Love in the Dark is something that it just feels a little bit quieter and a little bit more everyday that you might feel a bit heavy today. You might be struggling a little bit. I love the melody of it. I think that it really complemented those three songs. And yeah, it's just, it's one of my favorite. It was so cool to write. And it was such an interesting analogy because sometimes that just is what it feels like, is that you're loving in the dark.
Okay, you mentioned earlier that Love in the Dark is a bit quieter. Let's unpack the story behind the song a little bit more. Is it inspired by a specific relationships, or is it more about a broader emotional experience for you?
For me, it was more about an emotional experience. I found that love and relationships, sometimes you just feel a bit alone and you feel like there's no real path or no way out. And this is not necessarily romantic relationships, it can be friendships, it can be that you just feel a bit one sided and a bit closed. And I took all of the different times in my life that I had felt that way, even if it was for 5 minutes, and just tried to put some music to it. And I wanted something that was a bit sad, but a bit hopeful at the same time, because there is a way out. There is acknowledgement and moving forward. And I loved the imagery of Love in the Dark because love is so light and happy and it's what everyone brings. And I really wanted it to almost seem like you're in like a tunnel and love is that light at the end.
Okay, I would like to move a little bit right now. Every artist carries pieces of the music that shaped them. Uh, for you, which artist or cultural moment influenced the sound or emotional words into this album?
Um, a lot of different artists influenced me in this album. I found that, you know, there's probably a lot of Adele that influenced me, a lot of Lewis Capaldi, a lot of Ed Sheeran, some Billie Eilish. I really found that any artist, and I'm forgetting so many, but any artist that I related to, that was truthful to themselves and authentic in telling the world a message that was maybe not the prettiest or not polished as one would want it to be, but they were just them. That is who helped inspire me write this album.
Okay, nice choice. You also, if I'm not mistaken, you also covered one of the Billie Eilish song, right?
I did. I
Okay,
did.
tell us more about your experience with the Kelly Clarkson show.
Ah, that was a big moment for me. It took me many, many weeks to calm down. I'm still excited when I talk about it. Kelly Clarkson has been such a big influence in my life. I grew up singing Breakaway as one of my biggest songs, and I have so much respect and admiration, and she's one of the artists who influenced this album. Um, because she's so her, and I think when I got asked, I didn't believe it. I was pinching myself. It felt like just the biggest honor, and it still is so incredible, and I can't believe I did it to this day. It was so cool. She's so cool, and the fact that she picked that song, it was just really validating for me.
Yeah, I think Kelly is she's fantastic, and you in one of the episode of Kelly Clarkson. That's big.
It is.
Okay, since you wish you had collaboration with,
Um, People that I want to have collaborations with.
of course.
I would love to do someone like John Legend or Lewis Capaldi. I love that kind of piano bass ballad love song. I think that's so cool. So yeah, John Legend or Lewis would be massive for me.
Nice. Okay. I'd like to ask um question a little bit more personal. I hope you don't mind me asking about this. But you really come from fascinating mixed worlds. Your brothers is a Formula One's competitor, and your husband is professional snowboarder. While you're building your music, if you're comfortable sharing with us, do sports ever inspired your music, or are you the one who bringing the artistic energy into your family?
Sports definitely inspire my music. In fact, there's a single that's out now that we'll get to is called Hurricane, and I wrote that 5 years ago now, 4 years ago now, and it was about around the time that Scotty was competing in 2022. And the whole song is just about I'll find you in a hurricane, no matter what happens to you. Um, and I think that, sports 100% influence because there's such a big adrenaline rush. There's such a big, you work so hard for something for your whole life. And I admire both my brother and my husband so much for what they do. So I draw inspiration from everywhere. And on tour with Scotty, I've got my notebook and I'm constantly sitting writing my ideas, and it's good fun.
Okay, that's fun. So Hurricane is about the journey from 2022, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now that the album is out in the world, what does the next chapter of Chloe's story look like?
The next chapter, I've definitely got ideas in my mind of the next album. So I'm hoping to get writing and in studio and start, of course, I'd love to do some live stuff. I would love to do a little tour or something for this album because I think it deserves it and it would be such a dream come true. But I'm definitely wanting to get back in studio at the moment, and work on some more music.
Fantastic. I hope it's really soon. One last thing for
Thank you. Tell me.
what do you hope people feel when they're listening to Bloom in the Dark? Oh, sorry, Bloom in the Brick.
I hope they feel that they've been heard. I hope they feel with their struggles in their life, whatever it is, they don't feel alone. And, I think everyone goes through things and we can all feel lonely at times. So I really hope that they get from this album that if they ever need to feel that there's a friend in the world, there is.
Okay, that was our conversation with Chloe Stroll. Chloe, thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing your bloom in the break with us today. And we can't wait to see where your journey takes you next. Hopefully,
Thank you.
or from Indonesia sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you.